And now Stereomood, presented by Daniele Novaga.
Hi everyone, I'm Daniele Novaga and I am the CEO of Stereomood, the web radio that turns your mood into music. I'm going to tell you a little love story. John is really into Mary, and she finally agrees to a date at this place. John is really excited. He's doing all the works, make a delicious dinner, set up the apartment, but then he has to choose the music. What does he do? He has only a few minutes. He has so many CDs, millions of tracks on Spotify, a mess of MP3 on iTunes. He really doesn't know where to turn. He can turn on Stereomood, because Stereomood will give him the perfect music for his fantastic candlelight dinner in just one click. Let me show you how simple it is. Here's Stereomood on page with mood keywords, the stereo tags. Behind each stereo tags, there is a mood playlist. All John has to do is to find the right stereo tags, and the magic starts. Don't you know this artist? Doesn't matter, because it's the right music to light up John's candlelight dinner. Well, but emotion and music are so subjective. So how does it work? We aggregate songs from our partners, music blogs, artists, labels, and then we classify them into stereo tags through the power of our community. We trust the wisdom of crowd, and stereo tags are our social engine to produce mood-based playlists for every time in your life. I mean, stereo tags are to Stereomood and to music what hashtags are to Twitter. The new music taxonomy based on social tagging. The team behind this is composed by 3 founders. We met each other in MTV, and 3 other collaborators who were before strong fans of Stereomood. Our community is growing very fast. Number and mentions speak for themselves. Let me just underline that we reached this volume of data only through the power of word of mouth. United States is Stereomood's largest market, followed by Russia, Canada, Italy, Mexico, and Brazil. As you can see, we have a strong 25 to 34 demographic, which is very valuable for advertising and subscription. In fact, we are now monetizing through sponsored and mood-based and geolocalized advertising. That's a great property for brands. And in a few months, we will roll out our premium subscription, and further down our roadmap, we will be able to sell our API product to consumer electronics, automotive, and OEM partners. But what is the the investment opportunity with Stereomood? Market of streaming radio is growing very fast, doubling every year. And Stereomood is already the leader of the new emerging trends, the mood radio. Why you should listen to Stereomood instead of other streaming services? First, a unique, addictive listening experience nearest to your everyday life. Second, a new music taxonomy focused on emotion instead of traditional classification like, for example, genre, artist, album. Third, a great way to discover new emerging artists. We don't need to pay exorbitant licensing fees to measure labels or to have a huge libraries, music libraries. With this assumption, we forecast this financial overview, including the projected yearly revenue of more than $3 million within 3 years. We received a seed investment from the top Italian VC, and in order to create a revenue-ready product, we need an investment of $1.5 million within next June. This investment will support our product development, mobile development, user acquisition, to increase our user base and to fulfill the dream behind Stereomood. Use the stereo tags to socially tag the best music of the world. This scenario will allow Stereomood to become the authority on associating music to people's mood and to do what we know best, give many, many more users the best music to get through their everyday life, or like John and Mary, through a special evening. Thank you.
Next startup is KitoTech.
Welcome. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present KitoTech today. Our company is developing some really exciting technology to close wounds. It's different from the other technologies you've heard about, which are mostly in the IT space. Myself, I'm a physician, and I hate to say it, but I was Stanford educated, although my family did come from Italy in the 1400s eventually. I immigrated over here. And Marco is Italian, also unfortunately Stanford trained, although he did his postdoc at Berkeley, and he's a professor at the University of Washington Material Sciences Department. On my background, I've been a serial entrepreneur for the last 20 years in the biomedical industry, founded several companies. 2 of them have gone public on NASDAQ, and developed and commercialized several FDA-approved products. So what are we focused on? Well, this picture shows a wound, significant. Could be either from an injury or could be from surgery, and it is closed here with staples. However, it could also be closed with sutures. You can see it looks kind of nasty, painful. Any of us who have sutures can relate to this. What we are doing is developing a natural polymer called chitin. And this starts with an interesting story that was from 2,500 years ago, when a great Indian surgeon took a beetle and applied it to a wound, and the beetle bit down on the wound. And when the beetle bit down on the wound, he pulled the body away and allowed the wound to be closed with the beetle's mouth. Now, beetles, as well as many other insects and shellfish, are coated on their outside with a material called chitin. And chitin is a powerful wound healing agent. And that's how we close the wound. Well, the story started to stop then in terms of the use of chitin until recently. And we are one of the major players in the development of chitin, and we're developing it for a very unique clinical application. And that is, we've incorporated it into a bandage with what are called microneedles. Microneedles have been used over the past few years and developed with metals and glass, mainly to deliver drugs through the skin. We are doing something different. We're taking those microneedles, we're making them out of chitin, we're then putting them into a bandage or an array and applying them to the skin of a wound, could be a cut, laceration, surgical wound, to close it. Now, what is unique is the chitin. Chitin has many properties that are very beneficial to wounds. First of all, it accelerates wound healing. It also prevents bleeding. It's actually antibacterial. And most important, it reduces scarring. In addition, it has some powerful material properties. It's breathable, it's waterproof, and it's flexible, all important for when you're trying to cover a wound. And importantly, microneedles in themselves, interestingly enough, actually when you put these tiny holes in the skin, it actually accelerates wound healing as well. And finally, why have microneedles been developed? They're actually painless to apply, as opposed to sutures and staples. Now, here's a picture of a microneedle technology that we are developing, in which it will be put on a tape roll, similar, and it be administered to a wound, similar to what is done with Scotch tape, where you just unroll it over the wound. Chitin, as I said, comes from shellfish. It's the second most common natural polymer in the world, next to cellulose. Readily available, commercial sources and clinical sources are available. And we make it using a proprietary technology which generates nanofibers, which are able to be then formulated into microneedles, and that is a unique property that we are able to do and nobody else can do. Our KitoStitch has many advantages over the current products, which can address some of the issues, as you see, but only a few of the issues that are really needed to have an effective wound closing product. The market is huge. There is over 70 million closures of wounds today, both in the emergency room, the clinic, and also the operating room, resulting in a market in excess of $2 billion. And our product costs literally less than $1 to make, and so the gross margin is over 90%. And I won't have time to go through our outstanding team with extensive experience in the development and manufacture of skin products. And I just want to stress that we expect that we can introduce the product in early 2014, about 2 years from now. It can go very rapidly because it's a disposable device as opposed to a drug through the regulatory process. And we expect to have pretty rapid uptake. And this actually only represents 10% market penetration at the peak in about 6 years. And currently, we are trying to raise $2.5 million to fund our company. Thank you very much.
Now, Mary Palomba, present NextStyler.
Hi, I'm Mary Palomba, co-founder with Maurizio Palumbo of NextStyler. NextStyler will solve two different problems. Firstly, you have the fashion designers who are always in search to trying to enter the fashion business with several difficulties. On the other hand, you have the fashionistas who are always in search for exclusive clothes to wear. So NextStyler will offer to both of them a marketplace, a worldwide showcase for the emerging fashion designers, and a new shopping experience for the fashionistas. So NextStyler is a new and exclusive fashion brand created by emerging fashion designers and directly chosen by its customers. Nowadays, we are looking at a reversal of the collective taste. The future fashion trends are going back to essentials and uniqueness. So that's the right moment for NextStyler, because now luxury is the new luxury, affordable but exclusive at the same time. Let's take a look at how NextStyler works. For the fashion designers, NextStyler arranges some contests, and they will participate by uploading their fashion sketches that will be rated by the fashionistas. The best rated one will be manufactured by us through partnership and then sold on NextStyler's online shop. The winning designers will get a percentage on the sold items, of course. This is one of our first winners. The fashionistas instead will participate to the site with sharing and finally commenting and finally buying the clothes they prefer. Here you are how NextStyler's process works. Firstly, you have the community that creates and chooses the collection to produce. On the other hand, you have the two outsourcing partners for the production and for the shipments. So our business model is the online sales of fashion collections created by emerging fashion designers and directly chosen by its customers. NextStyler will carry ready-to-wear women collection. And regarding the production, we already partnered with different Italian manufacturing companies that will produce for us. So every NextStyler collection will be solely made in Italy, one of our main competitive advantages. We are online since last September and launched the online shop last week. We already have 200 designers registered, and every designer brings 20 fashionistas to the site. And everything is obtained thanks to the word of mouth with any marketing investment. NextStyler's competitors are some e-commerce dedicated to emerging fashion designers like FashionSec and Berkeley. And there is Look, a site dedicated to upcoming fashion designers to show and feedback their designs. But they will be different from ours because we will produce solely made in Italy, and we will produce a brand with a strong identity thanks to the theme of the contest that we arrange. So here are NextStyler's main competitive advantages. There are collections created by co-creations with exclusive design, produced in small quantities at an affordable price, solely made in Italy, and then NextStyler will be a brand with a strong identity. The team consists of Maurizio Palumbo and me. We have 17 years of combined experience in fashion marketing, and we have been selected by the Italian incubator L Labs last May, and won the first prize at Win Business Factor contest, Show Me Your Best, like Best Startup, and then, as you know, we are finalists at the Bridge competition. So here are our goals. To make them become true, we need some investors that believe in our idea and would like to support us in our growth path. NextStyler will need $600 key to get the business off the ground. We will invest them in operation, marketing, and human resources. So our motto is, let's start your fashion brand together, but I like to end by saying, let's start our fashion business together. Thank you for listening.
All right, you guys ready? Now, 7 minutes for question.
Testing. Greg DeLon with Forefront Creative Solutions Laboratory. Question for KitoTech. You talk about 2019 as one of your goals. Is that when you're planning on a possible merger or acquisition, or would you consider it before that?
Yeah, typically in medical device companies, you'd like to ramp up sales, but not to $400 million. If we were able to get sales in the $30 million range, maybe even a little less, but show a nice hockey stick, that would be the point of exit. I think, importantly, we have a very diffuse market. We'll have to use distributors. Ultimately, you need the power of a Johnson & Johnson, who make Ethicon for sutures over $1 billion in sales a year to really move this thing along. So that would be our plan, to get the sales ramped up and then sell the company.
I have a question for stereomood. Do you see yourself as an aggregator of users, and then eventually the music will be sourced from Pandora, will it be sourced from Slacker and other providers? Or will you be competing directly with them, sourcing your own music, your own database, and essentially becoming just an alternative to them? And I guess the other way to look at it would be you're the aggregator, you sit on top, and you just channel through the music coming from each one of them.
Yeah, we are just an aggregator from music blogs like iMachine, and we would like to suggest a new music taxonomy, a new way of listening. And we'd like to try to compete with Pandora and this kind of radio, because we strongly believe in this way of listening.
So you're in the business of actually licensing music, paying for the music, like everybody else is?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So I have Fabrizio Capobianco. I'm the CEO, actually the president of Funambolo. First, a comment that I would recommend to smile to the people. I know it's your tense, but okay, particularly the Italians. I think the Americans can stay not smiling. So I have a question for NextStyler. I don't know if this works. I'm not sure. So I like the idea, and I'm sure my wife will buy a lot of
Thank you.
stuff online. I have some questions about how do you plan to attack the market beside the web? Because this looks like something that could get on a mobile device, could go on a tablet. So if it looks like a website right now, is there something else that you're thinking of doing?
Yes, of course. Actually, we are working, as you told, on the website, and so we are making marketing strategy through the website, like viral marketing and so on. But in the future, we are thinking to selling NextStyler's collections even to selected boutiques all over the world. So we are thinking about selling offline and not only online. And so for the future, of course, we will think about a marketing strategy even for the usual boutiques. Okay. Thank you.
The question for each of the companies. You guys are all doing very interesting things, but you are all in crowded markets. In the case, in the stereomood, there are, a dozen or so companies that are doing mood tagging. In the case of fashion, I mean, there are 8 billion fashion sites, and out of the Iraq war has come, a number of interesting companies with new suture models. how are each of you going to win in the market, not product-wise, but go-to-market-wise? What are you going to do to really capture market share?
You mean through marketing to a strategy?
Are you going to gain customers quickly and dominate a market?
Yes, of course. Regarding NextStyler, one of our main competitive advantage is made in Italy. So this is one of our strongness because, as you know, made in Italy is all over the world synonymous of quality and attention to details and so on. So we, yes, it's true we have a fashion designer from worldwide, but the quality is made in Italy. So with a higher level, this is, I think, our most important point. Okay.
We know that there are other mood radios, but the other competitors base their vision on an algorithm. We try to base mood radio on social tagging, and so we think we can win the competition from this point of view.
Yeah, for a medical product, I think it's very important that you show something that's unique and, in this case, revolutionary. If we can show that we can close wounds successfully without pain, I think there will be a significant adoption. In terms of our strategy, we would not attempt to market and sell this ourselves. We would do so through a distributor of disposable products, of which there are many. And if you calculate the numbers, which you would be looking at $30 million, about a 1.5% penetration, which we think we can achieve at time we will exit. We certainly think we'll need the marketing muscle, as I said earlier, of a very large wound care product company in order to really get to the market in a large way. Mm-hmm.
We have time for one more question if we get one more. If you don't, I'm going to say 1 minute. We're going to drink before. All right, thank you.
Thank you.